evening, and welcome to Wanderings and Wool Gathering, episode 155. That's right, 155. And on tonight's episode, we actually have quite a bit to cover. We have a challenge issued by Metalhead Mundy, where we talk about some awesome front ladies, so to speak. We're going to review the latest album by Grace Potter called Mother Road. And also the latest by Filter. I think both of us were pretty excited about that when we heard it was coming out. It's called The Algorithm. For me, Grace Potter was not anywhere near my radar. It was on Mondays, so we will thank him for that one. And if you like what you've seen here tonight, make sure that you subscribe, leave a comment, and feel free to share with your friends. Tonight's episode is brought to you by 4411 Creative Agency. The good folks at 4411 provide custom marketing and flawless execution. Creative is their middle name. Head over to 4411creative.com to find out more. And joining me tonight is Metalhead Mundy.
Step inside into his mind. It's boy band time. It's
Metalhead Mundy.
I'm here.
As if on cue. There he is.
So, will we thank me for Grace Potter? We'll find out.
This is true. To have good conversation about a record doesn't mean we have to like it. But we might. Hopefully we do, because it's a lot of work if you don't like it.
It happens.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I was 50-50 on these records tonight.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
For now. All right. Well, Metalhead and I went and saw a little show last week, and pretty entertaining, wouldn't you say?
It would have been more entertaining if we got there before it started, but stuff happens. Parking in downtown Indianapolis is super fun.
This has got to be one of the worst venues for parking.
Oh,
There's probably parking for about a quarter of the place, and then everybody else has to fan out and go to the zoo or wherever.
So we had to park in the Indianapolis Zoo parking lot and walk across the river to the venue. So, it wasn't that bad, but like I said, we did not get there before Amon Amarth started. So, but I think we were only a few songs in, so that's all right. We saw quite a bit of them. They were playing Shield Wall as we were walking in, so that was pretty cool.
They were great.
They were.
I'm
awesome.
not a huge Amon guy, but I was in it once they started going, and they looked like they were having a ball.
Let me tell you, my wife does not love that kind of metal singing because Johan is, growly all the time. Sometimes he speaks in like a deep voice, but he's mostly just growling at you. But she really enjoys the Viking stuff and she likes them, and she was super, super impressed. So
yeah, it was a great stage presence for an opening band. You usually don't get that.
Yeah.
They had guys come on stage and fight. They had giant blow-ups that changed out, which was cool.
That drum riser, man. That drum riser is the best.
It was very cool. And your capture of your photo with the eyes was fantastic.
Yeah,
so
pretty great.
Yeah, and there was lots of audience participation, and you definitely don't get that with openers a lot of the time.
Yeah, so their song, "Put Your Back Into the Oar," that's the cue for the crowd to everybody, in their seats or gets down on the ground and they row the Viking ship across the ocean. So
you better believe we were rowing.
Super fun.
It was good. And then, of course, the headliner was Ghost.
Yep.
And that's our second time together actually seeing Ghost.
Yes.
First time was better. Only because of the audio quality.
I agree with that.
Never cut out when we saw them at the Murad. There were some issues here, I think, with the bass on a few of the numbers.
I feel like they were. I don't feel like I'm like the old guy saying this, but I feel like they were just a tad too loud. Either they were too loud or something in the mix was too loud, or I don't know. It was weird.
There was a rumble that, not from Cerise, but there was a rumble that was like overtaking some of the other instruments, and sometimes it was even hard to hear. him singing, but the songs that hit really well.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed it a lot. It was good.
Yeah, it was great. They always put on a good show. They had doing the shtick through the whole thing where they had one of the guitar players that, Papa kept, acting like he was in the wrong place, and he kept, pointing him to get back in his spot and all this stuff. So that was kind of fun to follow through the whole show. And, they're just such quality musicians, and Tobias is, he's a showman, like 100%. Like,
yep.
So yeah, I will. I'm sure next time they come around, we'll probably go see him again. So
I would assume so. It's just one of those shows.
Yeah.
And then before we jump in, we were just talking briefly before the show, but our old friends Holy Wars have a new video out, and holy moly, is it good?
What a banger. The song is called Deus Ex Machina. Cat Leon, Nicholas Perez, the duo that make up Holy Wars. We've had them. They were on the show together way back in the day. I think we got to them through Beauty and Chaos, right?
We did. Yeah, she had sung on a song with Michael.
Cat was on one of those songs. So, but man, they're a great band. And man, this song just goes hard in the paint. It is heavy. It is so cool. She's a great vocalist. The video is awesome. Just great all around.
Yeah, she's one of those people who just has a beautiful voice when she wants to, but she can be mean and nasty. And in here, she's like rapping, and you usually think when you've got a singer like that who raps, it's like, oh, it's going to be cringeworthy. But she was fantastic. She was belting it out, and the video quality for an up and coming band was outstanding. It's a really cool video, so you all should check that out. Deus Ex Machina by Holy Wars. You can just look it up and you'll see the official video.
Yeah. She only raps in like that one part. The rest of it, she's kind of singing and screaming.
There's two small verse parts that she does. So, but great heavy metal meets rap meets cool. So
fun times.
All right. That brings us to the challenge. I wish we had Paul here to say challenge accepted. So, Mr. Mundy, it was your challenge. Explain.
Yeah, so obviously when we decided we were going to talk about the new Grace Potter, I love her voice, and she's got, kind of a good rock voice, and it just got me thinking about just badass female rock and metal front women, or not even that. That's what I was thinking of, but I didn't put those parameters on it. But
okay, people are hitting me hard right now. So the first message I just got said, "You've got a face for radio." God bless you, Steve Meadows. You remember Meadows? He went to Ghost with us the first time.
Yeah.
And then our good friend Mr. Hilton says, "I think we should do this. I think this would be a fantastic challenge, but not, Mr. Hilton, until we finish the whole thing with you alongside." What is the best Danger Street album you could put together? Danger Street is a comic book series that we are reading monthly for our comic book club, and I think that's a great idea. But you also have to participate, Mr. Hilton, and be on the show making a guest appearance. Deal?
We could probably swing that.
I think that'd be a blast. It'd probably be better than the story.
Do we have to come up with 12 songs for the 12 issues?
No, probably. How many of the characters are there?
Well,
Let's count
12.
the characters.
There's 12 because it was 12 issues.
Right.
Each one is a different character. Yeah.
All right. We'll figure it out. We've got a few months to figure out exactly how this challenge is going to go. We'll definitely do a Danger Street challenge. All right. So
anyway, the challenge was just badass front women. And I wanted more someone in a band, not a solo performer, just because I think obviously if you're a solo performer, you have a band backing you, but I wanted someone who was more part of a unit.
Okay.
That's why I said no solo acts.
All right. My first is not really metal by any means, but she is commanding, and the little desk series they did, she was fantastic. But Dolores O'Riordan.
Oh, hell yeah.
You got to go there. She is a very commanding person. cool. And she's like, a lot of times when singers with accents sing, they lose it. Hers is front and center, and I think it sounds so beautiful that way.
Yep.
So Cranberries, Dolores, that's my number one.
I'm a huge fan of hers. I love the Cranberries when they came out, and their, all of their stuff is great. I would suggest, if you have not heard it, her solo albums, fantastic, good stuff.
Yeah.
So my first one, I don't think this would be a shocker for anyone that knows me really, but I'm going to go with Tatiana Schmeluk from Ginger.
Ginger. I knew that was going to come out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's the best introduction to her by far is that Pisces video. The live in the studio version of Pisces, where she's singing real pretty and all of that, and then she just the guttural, so good. She's just amazing, and she can slip in and out of that effortlessly. And her stage presence, if you watch live clips, she is just the epitome of badass front woman.
All right. She might be able to take Dolores in a fight. God rest her soul.
Say it wouldn't be hard now, but
yeah. All right. My number two is I'm canceling you. You heard it here first. Metalhead's canceled. But I'm bringing him back. He's back. Sweeps week's coming, so we need to have our heavy hitter here. Our second one is a new one on the scene for us, but I put Mariana on there. Because I love what she's doing with Project Renegade. She's tearing it up. And the thing I love about it is she was good on the first record that we did and when we had them on, but she's improved. Like, she was even better on this record and kind of expanding her repertoire. So I'm going to go with Mariana Floreau.
I would agree with that 100%. Everything you said. She's a badass. She's super cool, very nice person. And yeah, she's just keeps improving and getting better and more versatile, and total powerhouse.
All righty.
My number two, one who's also kind of newish, has really kind of hit the scene the last few years, is Mariah Formica from Plush. And I found her. Actually, I followed a drummer, I think her name's Brooke C, on YouTube, and I saw Mariah perform with her. They did a cover of Barracuda, and Mariah was singing and playing guitar. She was like, both of the Wilson sisters in one person. She, badass on guitar. Right up there with Ann Wilson. She is an amazing singer, and they're putting out some really quality music. They're starting to hit it big. They've put out, I think, one full length, and they have a new single out that just came out not too long ago. And they're opening for some big bands. I know they just they did some shows with like Seven Dust, and they've played with some other bands. So they're
when did they start?
I think their first album came out maybe 2021. So, and I started watching her videos in like 2019 or 20.
Plush.
She was on The Voice in 2018, I think.
Wait a minute. Somebody from The Voice actually is making it?
Yeah. She's amazing.
All right. That's cool. I'll have to check that out. All right, my number three, again, not banging, so to speak, but I had to go with Annie Lennox from Rhythmics, because she's just, I don't know that there's a singer who can do more in better way. Like, she's just so well-rounded, can pretty much hit about everything. And she's been with Bowie, which was super cool. She's just like the epitome of a cool singer, I think.
Well, if Sean's still watching, you definitely made his night, because that's his favorite. So, but yeah, I agree. She's amazing in every way, shape, and form.
He's not commenting. I'm a little bit disappointed.
So,
Now, I would have said that Ann Wilson was going to be your number one, but it sounds like it's not based on your last choice.
No, I was trying to go with just not her. I mean, she's like top of the top, so I just wanted to throw some other names out there. I did see her live recently, and the woman is 73, and she still kicks ass. So. Anyway,
I thought that would have got her brownie points.
Yeah,
being old and good.
Yeah, my speaking of old and good, probably won't appreciate that, but Debbie Harry from Blondie.
Mm-hmm.
They're just such a great band, and I mean, a versatile band. They play all kinds of different stuff. Debbie Harry back in the day, I mean, hot as hell, great singer, just, commands your attention. And she went on to do a lot of great solo work and be an actress. And she's kind of the benchmark, I think, for a lot of female performers that came after her.
Yeah. Do you have honorable mentions? I thought you might.
I mean, Joan Jett,
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's okay to love Debbie Harry, even for 83-year-olds.
Yeah, Cookie loved Rapture.
Oh,
he loved the rhyme in Rapture, I'm sure.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, there's so many. Joan Jett, what's her name? I'm blanking on her first name. Is it Alicia White Gloves from Arch Enemy.
Garbage comes to mind.
Oh, yeah, we saw Garbage this summer. My wife and I saw Garbage this summer. And yeah, Shirley Manson.
Does she still have it?
Oh, hell yeah. She was great. So good. They were awesome. Yeah, Shirley Manson's, she's a powerhouse.
All right. Well, that was cool. So next show, we're going to do guys who lead. No, I'm just kidding. Next show is Danger Street. No, we'll figure that out. I'm kind of excited about that now because that really will be a challenge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean posted that and then bailed.
I think so.
What a punk.
Came in, disrupted the show, and jetted.
He did. And my good friend told me I have a face for radio. Painful, Meadows. Painful. Anyway. All right. So we have 2 records we're going to talk about tonight. We're probably not going to hit every single song because we are doing 2 full records, but we'll hit a lot. We'll knock these things out. The first one that we're going to tackle is Grace Potter and her album called Mother Road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fun. So I didn't know what to expect. You came up with this. You're aware of this person and her previous band. I was not. I'd never heard her before. And as I'm listening to the first song, I'm imagining listening in a venue and Patrick Swayze is bouncing at the door. Kind of brings that vibe about. And, yeah, I'm not going to go any further. You go ahead and talk about it first before we jump in. I don't want to give away my opinion.
So, yeah, I mean, Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, it's one of those bands that I think I may have heard a song on the radio or something. And then I got like an album or 2 of theirs from the library back in the day, and got the CD and ripped that into the computer and whatever. But I really haven't followed along with her career since I don't know if they broke up or she just left the Nocturnals or whatever. But I think with the Nocturnals, their last album was 2012. So that's probably the last thing I've heard from her. But I like them. I like them a lot. And so this just kind of popped up and I was like, oh, I'll check in with that. And hey, we'll do it on the show. So, but I really love her voice. She is a good rock singer and super solid. She's got kind of that crispy edge that I love, and yeah, I thought this album was pretty fun. A lot of great lyrics through the whole thing. Some of the songs, man, she didn't hold anything back. She's dropping F-bombs, talking about some private parts and all kinds of fun stuff. She just kind of put it all out there, and I really enjoyed this album. And I think I told you, even if you don't like it, well, it's not very long. So this is like 40 minutes, I think, for 10 songs.
Yeah.
So not bad.
Okay. I would say, so if we look at this the typical way we do with album opener, album closer,
Yep.
I think absolutely nailed it. Like these two are perfect because Mother Road, I think, really does set the tone for the record. It is just a brilliant vocal performance. I love the guitar tone here. There's some nice, like the guitar solos don't go crazy, but they're definitely there and they're present. Yep. So it took me a minute to kind of get into the feel of it. And then I realized, okay, this isn't a standard rock album. We got a little bit of a kind of a country twang here and there and a honky tonk kind of thing going on sometimes.
Yep.
So I love that as the opener, but the closer was brilliant, masterpiece.
Yes.
So I kind of feel like this whole album is really tied together, which I think is kind of cool thematically. There's ghosts mentioned throughout, right? Yep. And so especially in the song All My Ghosts, which at first I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? And they're like, okay, her ghosts are her old times, drugs and all that kind of stuff hanging around, and that was cool. And then Rose Colored Rear View, another tie to ghosts, which was really cool. And then at the end, this is her masterpiece, that who she is, who she's becoming, growing up. She's not who she was, and it's kind of, there's some funny lines in Masterpiece like you were talking about, but it has cool piano opening, and I really felt like there was a little Fiona Apple feel to Masterpiece, kind of a quirkiness at times, which is cool. I love her cadence as she sings this one. And I don't know, I really liked this album open close, and then what happened in between I felt like really connected the tissue of the whole record. So
I agree with that assessment. The second song really, I mean, I enjoyed the opener, Mother Road, but and I thought it was really cool at the end of that where they kind of did, it's almost like a sing-songy thing. It reminded me of kids like doing like double dutch or something almost. But that was pretty cool. And then that slid into Ready, Set, Go, which I thought was a really cool song. I like that much more than the opener. So I feel like that one, she really cuts loose on the vocals. Throughout this album, I really like the organ work in this because it never really overpowers anything. It just works really well with what's going on in the songs. And in Ready, Set, Go, the drums were great. There's some cool slide guitar. Little Hitchhiker, I thought it caught my ear at first. I'm like, man, this really sounds like something else. And I couldn't put my finger on it, and I finally got it. If you listen to Little Hitchhiker and then put on Cowboy Take Me Away by the Chicks, very similar. Very similar melody, which is, I mean, it's close, but it's not exactly the same. So whatever. But I liked Little Hitchhiker. I thought the end of that song, the lyrics took a really dark turn.
They sure did.
I was like, whoa, okay.
There are dangers afoot on the Mother Road.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, that was pretty cool. And I think my favorite song on the record was Lady Vagabond.
The Old West showdown feel to it.
Yes, it sounds like it's from a cool old Western. And it kind of has a little bit of a gallop to it as you're going through the song. The percussion is really cool. It gives a lot of that, Western score flair. The lyrics are cool. And what I really, really loved on this song is if you pay attention to the horns,
Mm-hmm.
because there's one verse where she's kind of talking about she says something kind of alluding to Mexico or something, and the horns kind of have like a little bit of the Mexican feel.
Yeah.
And then in the next verse, she starts talking about Las Vegas, and the horns get really kind of big and showy,
Mm-hmm.
like a Vegas stage show. I'm
Like
like,
she
man,
planned it.
yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty dope.
Mhm.
So I really like the horns in that song, but Lady Vagabond kind of blew me away. I really enjoyed that song.
Yeah, I love the piano strikes, the
Yeah.
sharp strikes in that one. Ready,
Yeah.
Set, Go. I'm totally in agreement with you. I liked it because it was a little bit funkier.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first mention of her ghost, and it called back to Mother Road. So at that point, you know, I'm like calling back to the Mother Road. I'm like, okay, we're connected here. This is cool.
Yeah.
Little Hitchhiker, I loved. I really thought that was one of her best vocal performances on the
Mhm.
record. It was really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lady Vagabond, the Old West thing got me immediately. I thought
Yeah.
that was super cool. There's only one place, I think it was Futureland. It almost made me feel like the
Did
piano
not.
was the hi-hat hitting the eighth notes. It was just like boom, 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 boom. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this is overkill.
I didn't care for that one.
That was the only one I would have pulled off, and I think we would have had a sweet, well, we did anyway, but it would have been
Yeah.
a nearly perfect record.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
pulled that one off of there. So
I really like, I mean, it's almost like a concept record,
Mhm.
concept album without being a concept album.
there, yeah,
Kind
all
of.
the elements are there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a album of growth, I think, and it grew on me.
Yeah. I really dug it a lot. I mean, I've always kind of enjoyed her, but I just kind of fell off for a while, and I'm happy to be back because I really like this record. So.
All right, so I think we both like the open and closer.
Mhm.
Would you? What would you rank it?
I'd probably go 3.75 out of 5.
All right, I would probably go easily a 4
Okay.
out of 5. I dug
Yeah.
this a lot. I really was impressed. I felt like this was a not just like taking the music, but I felt like it was a raw, very emotional,
Mhm.
like impactful record.
Yep.
And I think that goes along. I think you just sometimes when you hear records, you can just it just oozes with it. And I felt this one kind of oozed with all of that. So
Well, I'm glad that you liked it because I wasn't sure which way that would go. So I have heard so much of her stuff for so long. I'm like, you said you'd never really heard her at all. And I was like, how is that possible? But it happens all the time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. That brings us to Filter, which I'm sure we were both aware of and dug in the mid 90s. When they were at their
Filter.
uber high popularity.
I saw them once.
Who were they
saw
with?
them. It was like a Family Values tour. So it was a bunch of bands.
Yeah. Their record is called The Algorithm. So what do you think?
Overall, I dug it. Listening through track by track, kind of in and out a little bit. There's a lot of songs that I loved certain elements of, but maybe didn't love the whole song. But I think Richard kind of is maybe taking some chances here. He's definitely doing a lot of different things with his voice. A lot of different, effects and processing, and a bit of regular singing and yelling like Richard Patrick does. But it's not terrible, I don't think, by any means. But I've got some notes on some songs, and I definitely had a couple of favorites. So that's where I'm at.
All right, I felt like this feels sort of derivative and uninspired.
Okay.
You start off with the first thing when I started listening to The Drowning, I thought it was going to break into Alice in Chains. It sounded like that opening to Wood.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what? And then it sounds okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but then it follows that pattern. We got the yell, and then that kicks in, and I felt like the electronics didn't feel fresh. It felt like we're just going back to the 90s, and that's probably an unfair assessment on my part because rock bands do that all the time. But when you're using electronics, it seems like you want to branch out maybe and do something different.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like any song blew me away musically. The best for me was Up Against the Wall. I think musically that was the best song. And there were 2 songs, I'm going to tell you which ones I hated.
Okay.
Usually I don't hate songs, but man, these were rough for me.
Up Against the Wall, I would agree. I mean, that was not one of my favorites. I really like it. That bass in that song, like the tone and the, man, just fat and thick and pretty.
And they put it up against those cymbals. And so
yes.
you got that, and then that high little, that was nice. I mean, that was really cool.
The drums in that song I really liked as well. Some cool grooves in that one. I think For the Beaten, that was a single they'd put out long time ago. So we've had that song for a while. I think that one comes in pretty dirty and hard. The chorus is good. It's, it's an okay song. Obliteration was the recent single. It's just kind of, man, it's very radio friendly. I think it's a very radio song, but it's not amazing. Say It Again was one of my favorites. It comes in with like this really sick, it just sounds like an old school metal riff. And I love that. The bass tone was pretty sick. There's a really sweet solo towards the end of that song. That was one of my favorites. Face Down, kind of a solid rocker, nothing special. Again, sounds like another radio single. What is it? Threshing Floor. That was another one of my favorites. Some monster riffs there. I really like the vocal melody and the chorus on that one. Big fat drums. Really like that song. And Be Careful What You Wish For is very cool. That one specifically sounded like if you think of industrial music, like this song fits that perfectly. And this one I could see, maybe kind of a throwback to the 90s filter kind of stuff. Which I didn't hate, but wasn't, earth shattering.
Yeah.
The last 2 songs on the record, I did not like at all. The Closer,
I said I
absolute
hated them.
stinker.
They were bad.
Yeah.
So I set Up Against the Wall as my favorite musically. My favorite overall song was Threshing Floor.
Yeah.
And then, so the ones you talked about are the ones that For the Beaten, Obliteration, Face Down. They're all catchy chorus things. What I would say about them, and this is my problem with it, is they're nice. They feel safe.
Yeah.
They feel like they're, like you said, radio friendly. They're in the pocket there. I guess I was hoping that he was going to explore some new territory and really go out there, and I was going to feel something. And I just felt like those just went through the motions, and they were just nice songs.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate that because I was kind of excited for some of these.
Yeah.
And the vocal performances on Burn Out the Sun and Command Z were, for me, just awful. They did not work at all.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely have a soft spot for Richard Patrick. But he is not the best singer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like on Command Z, I'm like, oh, buddy, like if ever there was a song screaming for a processed vocal,
yes.
So, whatever, it is what it is. And he shot his shot. So, good for him.
Hey man,
but
nice shot.
It was funny though, because I saw the name of that song and I'm like, Command Z. I'm like, damn, man, I swear Stabbing Westward has a song with the same title. They don't. There's a Stabbing Westward song called Control Z. So, which is kind of about like Control Z can't reset your life or something like that. You can't just reset your life with a Control Z. So,
gotcha. I like
that song a lot better.
Yeah. So, and the weird thing is like the Drowning, as far as the song goes, that's probably a good album starter. Other than I thought I was starting an Alice in Chains record, but it's a good album opener. But closer, you lost me.
Yeah. Did not finish strong.
No, I guess I had higher hopes, and that's one thing too. Like if this had been my first time ever listening to Filter, I might have felt a little different. But maybe I unintentionally held it against them. So, don't trust me. You may love this.
Unfortunately, I think, with bands like this that have been around for 20 plus years, this is, next year, I think will be 30 years for them. It's just, you want to love everything they do, but unfortunately doesn't always work out that way.
So I looked up some reviews because I'm like, gosh, is it me? Like, is there a problem with this? And the reviews are glowing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, man, maybe I just missed something here. So I'm glad you kind of felt similarly. There's just nothing that's bad here. It's just, I think Tony's got a quote on his signature on his email or something about art that the response you want is wow.
Yeah.
Not it's nice.
Yes.
And I didn't get a wow out of anything on this. So
yeah.
For me,
think there were some wow elements in some songs, but other than a couple of songs, it kind of ebbed and flowed quite a bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to score it, and I'm going to probably go with a 2 out of 5. It's nice.
I would probably do. I'd probably go a 3.25, 3.25. I think it is better than, like I said, 3 is usually my middle of the road. You've got 1 through 5 threes right in the middle. I think this is a little bit better than that, but not by much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. I don't know what our next review is. I know we have Corey out in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's out this week, so we might have to surprise you with a on the spur of the moment review. We'll have to look that up.
Figure something out.
We
say that a lot, but we usually figure it out.
So, and I've got on the 9th Pearl Jam, and on the 10th, the 9th is Smashing Pumpkins, 10th is Pearl Jam.
All
so
right.
I'm going to be going back-to-back nights at Ruoff.
Nice.
So that will be fun. Anything else before we hang it up tonight, Mr. Mundy?
I went to a show Tuesday.
Oh, yes, you did. How was that?
I did. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh, he's got something for us. Now, we have a Facebook user, Sod is what she goes by. And she says that we could just do the top 10 Bob Dylan songs on our next show. So we will put that in our hats and consider it.
Does that mean I don't have to be here? Because I'll have a blank list anyway.
Oh, here comes the hateful comment.
I'm kidding.
Here comes.
I'm kidding.
Do you have something to show us from the concert?
I do. So we went to the Schrott Center for Performing Arts, I think it's called. It's the full title, on the Butler campus. It's right next door to Clues Hall. And we went and saw the Red Hot Chili Pipers. Look at this logo, though. This logo is badass. I love it.
I can't believe you didn't buy a kilt.
They didn't have any.
Oh, man. That's a bummer. Did anybody wear kilts on stage?
Oh, they were all, it was a uniform.
Okay.
It was a black shirt with like a little logo and they had like a big lion, Scottish lion on the back, black and red, head to toe. Black shirt with the red lion, black kilt, and the pleats in the kilt were red. And they had the socks, the high socks were red with black tassels and black shoes. They were all red and black.
What was your favorite song?
That's a tough one. It was interesting because they have a few originals. So they have it's 3 pipers, and then they have a full band, bass, drums, guitar, and keyboards. And they have a singer that kind of comes in and out. They were better when they did not have the singer on there.
Not good, huh?
He was good. He was great. He was a very talented singer, but I feel like he was in the wrong band because he was trying to be like a super R&B singer, a lot of runs. And I'm like, dude, you're in the wrong band. So they had some originals. They played a couple of traditional stuff, which is more like traditional bagpipe songs with, they filled it out with the rock stuff. And then they would like come in and out of covers. They played like AC/DC. They played The Killers. They played.
What they play from AC/DC?
I mean, there's an AC/DC song with bagpipes in it.
Which one?
Really?
I'd have to. I mean, once you say it, I'll be like, oh yeah, but
it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. But so yeah, it was fun. It was entertaining. It's a little cheesy, and this my wife and I came to the agreement that one, it was a cool night out because we got both tickets for less than $50. So there's that.
That's a win.
The theater is really cool little theater, great sound. Definitely would see a show there again. But they are kind of like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Sounds amazing. Super talented musicians. You've seen it once. We don't need to see it again. So
they should be on every Christmas thing like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is, the lights flashing on the house. We need to have bagpipes.
Yeah.
That would be super cool.
They are from Scotland, like legit. They're from Scotland. So
did the singer have a heavy accent?
Not when he was singing, but yeah, several of them spoke, and they all have the Scottish accent. And I bought my shirt from a Scotsman who was like 7 feet tall and gorgeous, and I'm like, thanks, dude. And Lacey was like, oh my god, But
between that and Vikings, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know. I say all the time, I don't know how I don't have a kilt yet.
I know. That's why I asked if you bought. I thought maybe they would sell them there.
No, they weren't selling kilts, and their shirts were cheap, so I got one.
That's awesome. How was the venue?
It's gorgeous, beautiful theater, and it's small. It's not big at all. So,
all right. Well, that's going to wrap up the show for this week. Mr. Mundy, nobody's going to try to find either one of us, but where would they find you if they wanted
to? Just my handle on the show. Go to Instagram, type that in, Metalhead Mundy, and that's it. I'm there.
Yes, he has a handle, everybody. And you can find me, Foggy's Pal, on the platform formerly known as Twitter. And you can find me on Instagram, Foggy's Pal. We have one last comment before we go. Oh, gosh, here we go. I should have known. On a real note, I think you guys should review Love It If We Made It by the 1975.
Is that an album or a song?
Song.
I can do a song.
All right. Challenge
I don't
accepted.
like them very much.
Don't say that. You'll be on the list again. Dang it, Mundy. You were almost off, and now you're back on. I can't catch a break. So, all right.
Lacey wanted to check them out one night, and I was like, okay. So we started watching some videos, and we were both kind of like, meh.
Uh-oh. We better get off quickly before she starts blowing us up with more stuff. All right. You can find Wanderings and Wool Gathering on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Stitcher's gone, right?
Yes.
Castbox and SoundCloud. And you can find album, movie, TV, and comics reviews at wanderingsandwoolgathering.com. And we will be back next time, 156, with something big. I can feel it in the air tonight, but it won't be that.
We'll figure it out. We always do.
We do. All right. Later, everybody.